Good morning, peeps. So, welcome to another Towel Talk, 2 in a row. Got some serious health stuff starting to swirl around in my world again. Chronic disease was something I started working with back. And Erin Zen Warrior signing in, still fuzzy wuzzy was a bear. And Will Fix Camera. And what else did I need to say there? Please like, comment, do all the things, share it around, etc. So, health. I've been working with chronic disease now for, when did I start? 2015, I probably started. Probably before then. I also mentored under a guru who was a medical intuitive, and we worked with all sorts of things, including high spectrum level disorders, AIDS, all sorts of things. And I saw miracles. And since then, a lot of us that were connected to that have gone out into the natural health world, and we help extend that work. Believe it, don't believe it, but magic happens. And you are the magic. What you decide is important. And this aligns with the last video that I did, but it's a little bit more serious sounding. I have all sorts of people come to me with all sorts of chronic diseases that will kill them. And we get really good results. And when I say we, it's because there's always usually more than just me working with them. And also because they work with me, and because they want to do it, and because the second you decide you are going to be empowered within your own life, your life will change. And when you get a chronic disease, it is a massive invitation from your life to change your life. And it's wildly awesome. It's just wildly awesome, right? Because in that moment, the hell you have been putting yourself through can change. However, most of you want to change, but you don't want to pay the piper. And I don't mean me in this sense, but sometimes that's also true, right? You don't want to pay the piper, and that is, you don't want to let go of all the safety mechanisms you have put in place that you think on some childhood traumatized, socially conditioned bizarreness, you think is actually doing what you think it's doing in your life. You know, we were raised to win the game. The best way to win the game is not to play, you know, and people are like, oh, but you're in the matrix, you have to play. It's like, be in the life, not of it. That's what my guru used to say all the time. And I have understood that more and more in recent years. I pay bills, I live in a house, I drive a car, I deal with petrol prices. I have a cat that has left scratches all over my body. I deal with the reality of 3D on a level. And on another level, I know that none of this is really what it seems, and everything is an illusion. And your health and your good health is really aligned with your ability to treat yourself really well. Last night I was lying on my acupuncturist table because I'm quite tired and I need today off other than finishing my taxes. I hit myself in the eye with the hilt of a sword. Mong says he's also cut his head recently. So we are getting injured playing with swords. Do not be deluded. And then I also stepped backwards off a chair in the kitchen and scraped my Achilles. I just misclopped it. It's a very tired person thing to do. And scraped my Achilles down the cupboard at the base. And I was shocked. I was like, oh no. And someone had just told me a horrific story about how they damaged their Achilles doing the same thing, but really badly. And I'd had my hands in their Achilles going, oh my God, what have you done here? Anyway, I took this to the acupuncturist last night, and he did horrible things, including shoving needles into the bruise on my heel that had appeared, which is not as bad as I thought it was, but he said, oh no, this is very bad. And shove needles into it, squeeze the bruising out, shove needles into it again, squeeze the bruising out, all while I'm screaming, by the way. And then he did it again. And then he cleaned it up and he put herbs over it. And I have to say, I reckon by the end of today, you won't be able to see anything at all. Just looking at it, I've taken the bandages off now because he put his herbs over it. He also put the herbs over my eye, and that almost perfect today. You could see the bruise, but I didn't really have a black eye, so to speak. Anyway, my willingness to be healthy allows me a willingness to look at myself totally and go, okay, how am I messing with this? It also means that when he said you should have come right away, I understood that coming the next day was not fast enough. I should have rang him when I did it because he's open to that. And I could have come right away. He's like, yep, all my clients know you come as soon as you can. And then we started speaking about a person that we're trying to look after who's got quite a serious issue that the acupuncturist said to me, he's like, they've never allopathically cured that. They've never managed to make that particular problem better. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't feel comfortable talking about this one particularly openly as yet, but especially not with what I'm about to say. But this person has had this problem for many years. I knew about it a while back. I didn't know what the problem was exactly, but I knew what the problem was with her psychologically. And she got in touch with me and I said, yeah, let's do something about it. You're going to need to do X, Y, and Z. Let me know what you can manage. Now, it's not a small thing. It's a massive focused project. They're going to need to be on the ground working on it for a few weeks and like every day, with a couple of days break in between. This person means they're able to do this. They don't have time. They're time poor. They have always been time poor, And I had a realization while I was lying on the table last night talking to the acupuncturist, and he was going, it can't be that big of a deal then. And he was kind of joking because he's always a bit smarter than he appears. And I said, no, you know what it is? This person is going to be much harder to fix because they're not here right now. They're going to wait for a month and a half because that's going to be convenient for work and all these other things. And I'm like, if it was me, I would be here right now. If I had realized I could have gone to the acupuncturist at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday, I would have gone. If I had realized it was that important to go as soon as possible, I would have gone. That's why I was there the next day, because I knew he would be able to help and I knew he was the best person to see, and I went as soon as was reasonable, But if I had realized I could go earlier, I would have gone. With my guru, I would go right away. I ripped my hand open when I was in my 20s in London. We sent the ambulance away and I went to see my guru first. And he saved a lot of the nerves in my hand, by giving me some strong advice when I went to the doctor. He said, they're going to want to stick stuff around in there. They're going to want to test the nerves, he said, and test what's going on in there. And he said, you haven't actually it's superficial damage. You'll lose a little bit of touch feel on the hand, but otherwise it's fine. But if they stick things in there, they're going to fuck it up more. He said, so don't let them. I had to argue with the woman for like 45 minutes before she went to get her boss. He came down, he gave me a tongue depressor, got me to grab it, and he pulled it in different directions and got me to hold on to it. He tested the mechanics and proved that there was nothing wrong with it. And it was like, yep, clean it up, stitches. That's all I came here for. And that's all I got. But I fought with her. And my friend couldn't understand it because she wasn't part of our crew. She couldn't understand why I fought so hard. She was like, just let them. I was like, no, he said, don't let them. I trust him. I know he's got this right. Trust my acupuncturist too. If he says come immediately, next time I'm going immediately. I have a chronic disease and he says you need to stand on your head for 5 days. I'm going to fucking do it. This is how dedicated I am to my health and my good frequency. The question is, how dedicated are you? I have people who tell me that they're worried about diabetes and heart disease and all this sort of stuff, and they can't help themselves. And I think there's lots of reasons they can't help themselves. And a lot of the time it's because the energetics fall down so much that you guys get weak and then you can't make good decisions. And I think that's what's happened with this person, right, that I was talking about. And I think it's what's happened with this person is the system has dropped down so low that the whole issue has come up in their body in the first place, and that the ability to make the decision to fix themselves is hard because the body is down. Now, if you follow my human design stuff, this is where it gets good. Human design is all about understanding your mechanics so you can make good decisions. And good health gets you good decisions. And bad health makes it hard to make good decisions. Now, I've had people come to me with really bad health who are actually already recovering. And I'm only really realizing that this was what was happening with them. People come to me when they are ready to recover. So something in them has already made the first step. Something in them has already decided this is what they're going to do. And then how much they act on it, how dedicated they are from there to do what they are told, basically, because they've come to the right place to get decent advice, and to do what they're told, to try it out, to experiment, to see if it works, right? How much they're willing to do that results in how quickly they recover. Like literally how quickly they recover, how quickly things start shifting and changing for them. And the more people listen to me and pay me lip service but don't actually do what I say, the more they sort of hover in a zone. So I'm giving you secrets here. Whether you work with me, another natural orientated practitioner, whoever it is, if you are struggling to make good decisions for yourself and you're staying stuck in, I've got to work, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to manage the kids, I've got to look after everything else, when your health is saying, hey, you need to look after me, your system is so low. You need someone like my master acupuncturist to juice your system up. You need someone like me to slow you down and get you to calm the fuck down before you're even good at making decisions. And so the best decision you can make for yourself is pray for that help. And when it comes, don't fucking ignore it. Because the choice you're making when you ignore it is not whether you get well or not. It's how quickly you get well. Because people get well when they make the right decisions. It doesn't really matter, the rest of it. It's the fact that you shift your frequency in that decision, that the work works. That's actually what goes on. And that more potential possible work comes to you. So whether you listen to this or not, whether you get it or not, there is an art to healing, and it actually starts with you. And it's your dedication to deciding that you, for the first time ever, come before your survival or your survival beliefs, before your job, before your family, before anything else outside of you, that you are going to be first. It's a big fucking ask for most people. And I get it. I get why you don't do it. And I have the utmost compassion for it. But it's also because you guys don't get it. What I'm giving you now is the fucking secret to good health. Listen or don't. Have a great day.